Good day, my name is Sean Sharp with Scotchman Industries. We have a CPO 350 PKPE-VS power clamp, power down, and variable speed. This Scotchman cold saw will cut a 4x4 profile, a 3-inch solid mild steel or 1.5 inch solid stainless steel part. It has a high-speed steel blade. High-speed steel blades are resharpenable. You can cut roughly for 8 hours straight on this blade and then resharpen it for about $30. And you're only going to lose about 1/16 of an inch every time you resharpen a blade. So the return on investment is right here in this high-speed steel blade. This is also a pivot saw. So this saw has 180 degrees of rotation. The hard stops at 45, 90, and again at 45 degrees. So you have 180 degrees of rotation with this head, but the effective cutting range is 45 degrees to 45 degrees. The hard stops at 45, 90, and again at 45. We're going to go ahead and cut some 1-inch schedule 40 pipe. Right now, when we're cutting steel, you're never going to turn much faster than about 40 RPM. So I'm going to cut this pipe at about 30 RPMs right in the middle. Another nice thing about a Scotchman cold saw is that your part, okay, is just going to be cool to the touch and burr free. All right, if I didn't have my glove on, I ran my finger across that, I'd cut myself. So you're going to get a virtually burr-free cut with your Scotchman cold saw, a good return on investment on your resharpenable blade, an extremely accurate cut. Okay, ready? This saw has the variable speed option, so since I'm cutting some non-ferrous material, I can actually exceed that 45 to 60 RPM for ferrous material, and we can turn this all the way up to 180 for the non-ferrous material. Now, if I was cutting 200 parts of this, I would go ahead and change blade. But since we're only cutting ones or twosies, this 150 multi-purpose blade will probably do everything about in your shop. Now we do have the ability to change blades, and I'll do that here at the end. But this multi-purpose 150 tooth blade is good for a lot of different materials. So we just cut 1.25 inch schedule 40, 1-inch schedule 40 pipe, some aluminum, and now I have some all thread over here. Okay, unfortunately I didn't bring the all thread nut, but we're going to go ahead and cut this, and a lot of our mechanical contractors know how difficult this is to cut and have to deburr after every time we cut it. Nice clean cut. Alright. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and change the blade. If I was cutting, a solid material, I'd probably opt for 120 tooth blade. If I was cutting thinner materials, I'd go up to a 200 or 220 tooth blade. With this 150 at 12.5 inches, as close to multi-purpose as we get, and it can cut a lot of different materials, but you will want a blade tailored to your material, because that'll give you the maximum blade life out of that high-speed steel blade, and that is where you're getting your return on investment, out of this blade. So you want to tailor your blade to your material. Now I've got the emergency stop turned off, and I've also got the power shut off. to change this blade safely. But we can change these blades in less than 60 seconds. You know, typically you're going to have 1 or 2 blades on the wall, a blade in the saw, and then a few blades being out sharpened. And it is just 1 bolt. And all we really have to remember to do, turn the power off prior to doing it, and take the backlash out of the blade before we tighten it down. Now that blade is changed. Now we're going to set our stroke. We're going to make this nice and tight to the part. Going back to the 1-inch Schedule 40. I'll set my top stroke, which is right here. This will be your top stroke for your stroke control. And down here is our bottom stroke. I'll go ahead and measure out my bottom for flow control. Okay, now I can set my bottom stroke. And that's the blade changeover process. It's very quick. And now we can go right back to cutting our materials. The medium production task. One last thing I'd like to mention is we've left this guard up for your viewing pleasures. This is actually a clamshell guard that rides down here on top of the vise to protect your employees from chips and or breaking of the blade. And there's our nice clean part. Okay? So this is a Scotchman 350 cold saw. This has a power clamp, power down, and variable speed, which is going to maximize your blade life. This is also a great saw that can be upgraded to fully automatic in the future. So if you ever have aspirations of going to a full automatic system, you'll need to start with a semi-automatic platform. Alright, so this is your entry-level saw from Scotchman Industries. This is built in Phillips, South Dakota, and it has a 3-year parts warranty.